Dad Life presents live discussions on Obi-Wan Kenobi, Episode 5. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to live discussions on Obi-Wan Kenobi on Geek Dad Life, to geeky TV and film reviews. I am joined by a all-star cast of Star Wars podcasters and YouTubers. To my left is Matt from Own and Brews Barbecue. Matt, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
I think we were iffy if you'd be able to make it or not today.
It was a wild card. Yeah, I had to ditch on Ralph's show and just show up here.
And then Ralph, co-host of Screen Geeks with me, also has his own YouTube channel dedicated to Star Wars. He rarely mentions it. It's live action Star Wars. You can search that on
live action.
Only live action. And he covers it every single Wednesday, and then has still been joining this show. So eternally grateful. Ralph, welcome, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we have an episode that I actually enjoyed. Mike Hex has let us know in the chat. Mike, pace yourself, my friend. Pace yourself, my friend. We got a full hour here tonight. But let's say hello to that chat. We got Migo Hulk. We got Mike here. We got Studio Henge. We got Darthian. We got Todd Smith in the house. David V is here. Charlie Weaver is here as well. Wait, I Know You podcast is here. Great logo there on the way up.
They're really good. Really good. Whoever took his original logo and remixed it did quite the number on it.
And then it's Nick.
Nick.
He sent me in this to the PO box, the GDL PO box. This porcelain.
It's porcelain. Wow.
He-Man, which is pretty cool. I know it's not Star Wars, so I won't show it. I'll talk
so
about it more.
bright. You gotta wear
Marshmallow He-Man.
It's made out of porcelain. I feel like I'm gonna break. Remember those porcelain cats your grandma had for some reason like that?
Yeah.
It's
now you're the grandma. Now you got that porcelain. That's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
I recently inherited a bunch of that milk glass, kind of stuff, and I was like, what do we do with all? They're just a bunch of shoes. Who collects these like weird shoe shapes? Huh?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Although it would be cool if it was He-Man.
Well, it's porcelain toys recollection. So they must do Star Wars too, because they have this Star Wars sticker there. So
classic Kenner.
Check them out. A Troy is in the house. Good to see you, studio. I think I did say you. I'll do it again. Brandon 3G is here. Nelson A is in the house. We've also got let's see, Jay Andrew is here. Wait, Ralph has his own show about Star Wars. Since when?
Troy, you asked this last week.
It's a recurring bit, okay? And I love it.
Okay. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with this recurring bit.
I'm here for more Wade talk. Hashtag rest in peace. Drifter Comic. Colleen is here. Scott D is here. He Puffed and the Masters of the Maloverse. William
I like that.
Here as well. Okay. A new shirt. I'm the grandma. Oh my gosh. All right. So, gentlemen, penultimate episode. I think for a little while now we're like, all right, they got to at least have some type of flashback here. We got to go, prequel era at some point.
I always felt like if you cast Hayden Christensen, we got to see him without his mask on. We got to see him without all of this makeup, right?
Yes, and I've seen a lot of jokes similar to this. But we use the Dave Chappelle, was it the crack addict guy? Was like, you got any Marvel de-aging back there? As much as I sincerely loved the flashback, and how much I think Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor look fantastic 20 years ago.
They do look great.
Mm-hmm. They could just maybe a little bit more because it was a little bit tough. We got a flashback. Matt, your thoughts first. You're dying to talk about it.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
what if?
No, I'm not gonna.
What if this is Vader's memory of it, right? And it's almost like he's thinking about like, what if we were still Jedi Knights? You know, like I don't know why he has a British fucking voice. Oh, excuse me.
Language.
Whoa!
Sorry,
what is this live action Star Wars every Wednesday at 7:30 in the morning?
No, it's more like this other show that I do, Ramblecast After Dark, in which So anyway, point being that
I have a counterpoint, by the way.
Perhaps he's thinking about it, like almost kind of like a live dream memory, like, oh, what if, you know,
counterpoint.
Wait,
later on. No.
Give me some real quick.
Okay.
So even in his dreams, much like Dwight, he is still a Padawan. He doesn't even give himself like master. He can't even give himself rank of master in his dreams. Okay, Ralph, go ahead.
Obi-Wan has flashbacks of this same fight.
Oh.
So why wouldn't he? I don't know.
Yeah, and why would they imagine themselves old? Yeah, I know. It falls apart. Okay.
Hey, fellow Padawans.
What if they did kind of some Roger Rabbit kind of thing, and they just like were like, okay, now we're going to show you the Clone Wars era, since you guys love that so much. It's just going to be Clone Wars, animated, except in the live action setting. And then Ralph would be like, I don't know if I can record about this.
Well, okay. This is
we could do what we did for the holiday special.
It's like a Scat Cat kind of thing,
where they pulled out the animated thing. We actually talked about the animated portion of the holiday special. Yes. Me, James, and Jay, and it got taken off of YouTube.
Oh,
so that animated didn't get aired.
Well, rightfully so.
It's unfortunate because it was the first time, to Ralph's point, that we were going to get that. But I do actually want to talk about this a little bit because, you know, I think Charlie, and put the plus in Charlie Weaver's comment here, interesting from a certain point of view because they're force connected. So I assumed this was a Vader flashback because it kind of kept cutting to him after these scenes happen. Now I've watched it twice. I'm trying to remember now if it cut between Obi-Wan as well, or if it.
Later on, Obi-Wan does.
Okay.
Because it's Obi-Wan, like the lesson, right? Like, yes. If I faint here, then I will have the upper hand later. So,
yeah.
And I also thought this was a very like expertly like, you know, put in lightsaber fight that we weren't expecting to get. I had heard rumors. I hate spoilers or what have you, but you know, I'd ran across the whole, like I think I'd even mentioned it maybe on one of these shows, but that we were going to only get 2 Obi-Wan Darth Vader fights. Sneakily, we get a third because it's Anakin, and so I'm fine with it. I don't know, the warts and all. I still really like this show, and I like all of the things that we're getting with these characters. So I'm accepting the horrible de-aging, and I wish I had de-aging when I'm on these live. Right?
You look great, man. You look great skin. Great skin. And Ralph does as well. But Ralph is Sans kids, so there's a certain
that beard
glow.
It's like
it's all my friends that don't have
out of control right now.
I've just got these glasses. I mean, I take these off and like
see, glasses help. Glasses help cover up the perpetual back. But see, all my non-kid friends, they always just look so much younger than with kid friends. And that's where I will never judge anyone that doesn't have kids because it will add some miles on you. But that being said, it didn't take me out of it. I think they still looked fine. There was just moments, and it was really in Hayden's neck where it's just like, ooh, he's got a 40-something-year-old or 50-something-year-old man's neck going on right now. But his face looked pretty good.
He's younger than me. Like, what? I mean, I don't have that neck. Do I, guys? Do I?
No, your neck's nice. You got nice neck.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I feel like it doesn't help that we haven't seen him since 2005.
That's true. That's true.
Yes.
So there's a big jump in time. It's not like it was a thing we gradually saw over time.
Yeah. Most of my friends that saw me in the early 2000s, if they saw me now, they'd be like, "What happened to your neck?"
Right.
Troy also agrees.
Okay, great. This is making my day. So it's actually
we can't see Ralph's. So.
It's well, you got that sidekick on your neck. But anyway, de-aging aside, I liked the parable, and I liked the fact that we get this other battle. I liked the back-to-back move. I don't think we had seen that between the two of them.
It was nice because what I've loved about what this series has done, especially in episode 3 between Vader and Obi-Wan, it had a slower pace, so it had that kind of, and not that it was one-handed, but it was very much kind of felt like it was flowing into the type of lightsaber battles we got in the original trilogy versus prequel, which is like a lot of, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I love them all. But so it's cool that in this prequel flashback, it was the twirly, style duel, which was neat. I really dug it, and it was nice to see them sparring and understanding their strengths and weaknesses between each other, right? Like Anakin, Darth Vader understands Obi-Wan's weaknesses, and Obi-Wan understands Anakin's, and it goes to show how he bested him in Mustafar, how he bested him in this episode. And I know we've kind of been, I know there's kind of nitpicking around like the canon being, messed up by this.
Canon be damned.
Star Wars always messes with its canon from like the first minute. But this is very much clearly, to me, it's like I was but the learner. To me, he's still getting bested by Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
Oh well, they're gonna catch up with him. We'll get to that. One other thing I wanted to mention about that back and forth though is that we also see that Darth Vader move that he uses on Luke when he cuts off his hand, and the same move that Luke uses on Darth Vader.
Yep.
So it was really cool seeing like those little subtle nods to like all of these lightsaber battles, and I just thought the back-to-back moment was kind of a cool, like, oh, I haven't seen you guys do that, but it also felt a very brotherly thing. You're sparring with someone and you're like pushing against them, but you're also in this dance. So
I agree, and it was this was clearly pre or maybe during Attack of the Clones, because he had his older lightsaber, he still had both his arms, his hands.
Yes.
So
so the age really doesn't make sense. I'm gonna remember this time as though I'm older. I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, this is where I think a lot of people get nitpick loss, but I love that we had the whooshing sound to help us understand how the flashback is connected to which character. No whooshings here, so it's just an interspersed kind of thing.
Right.
Anyway,
it's actually Reva. She's imagining the whole thing.
All right,
it was Obi-Wan and Anakin. They were both against me.
Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about Reva, and again, whatever you think about this storyline or critiques about, it's not a perfect show by any means, but is any Star Wars perfect? No. Save for maybe Empire.
He's holding me back.
Yeah. But there's just this thing that, and again, I don't think this speaks to every Star Wars fan, but there's a lot of like just toxic Star Wars fans, or the toxic culture, fan culture, or what have you. And and again, I'm not saying this for everyone, but I think, Matt is part of another Star Wars chat that we're a part of. I'm not going to name names.
Nope.
But just like the vitriol and the hate on this, not you, Ralph.
I can name names.
Oh, no, I won't. But I just had to get into it with them.
I will.
But like claiming like all of this stuff, and I'm just like, you haven't even seen where this is going yet. Like, why are you putting all of this into? How does she know he's Anakin? And I was like, you don't even know it's gonna like chill out. And this episode, I think, proves true. Where it's just like, okay, the thing we all thought was probably going to happen. Everyone needs to take a chill pill and let the thing play out before you start to speak it.
It's Masters of the Universe Revelations, part 2 all over again.
Yeah,
it's we're only getting half the story. Screw everybody, light everybody on fire. Everyone at Netflix needs to fire Kevin Smith. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Finish watching the story.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
well, and also let's just not make it about race. I mean, there's this thing of like always picking on the other. When you have a character like Rose, who's completely, bashed and attacked, it's just because of her race. So, and yeah, it does make any arguments then seem weak or what have you. But I really liked the arc and the battle we get with her and Vader in this. On the rewatch, it's just as compelling as the other lightsaber battle we just talked about.
Yeah, my only critique there, and Ralph, I know you have a thought, so I want to let you get to it. My only critique is I think she should have died in this episode. Like if we didn't need her to kind of continue this, there needs to be a threat to Luke kind of thing, because you can't put Vader there. I think the true arc here, they should have killed her at this point. But I get that she, just in terms of where they put this story, and she kind of needs to be. She's kind of playing the part of Darth Maul being the threat to Luke on Tatooine, and that's going to be like some type, whether the Vader battles first and then Reva's last, however that plays out. There's a little bit more there, but I think it just made sense just in terms of the story. But that's just me. But that's just one thought I had there. Ralph, go ahead for your thought.
I don't think I'll come off well saying it, so I'm going to let it go.
Okay.
It's just tough because there are people out there like with Rose that are like hiding behind like racist motivations.
Sure. Well,
which makes it tough to critique the character.
Yes.
Without being lumped in with that group.
But that is fair.
And that's the problem that I think that happens is the toxic fans that are clearly have a certain bent to it. It then clouds fair critiques, right? Or fair criticisms. Like, I think there's fair criticisms to be had on Obi-Wan. Right. And I think there's fair criticisms to be had about Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker or whatever. But the problem is the toxicity almost cloud, and then you're just lumped in with you just hate.
So here's an example. Here's an example. There was a group of people who wanted WB to release Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League, and they came up with this thing where they used this sort of hashtag of release the Snyder cut to help charities that worked in suicide prevention, which is something that's sort of relevant to that cause. And I'm like, this is cool because there's a lot of money getting pumped into this charity through this cause. And also, I'd like to see more Justice League. I'd rather see a longer cut. It might have Green Lanterns in it or something. I don't know. I like to see that. And that's great. Then it came out and then everybody became entitled and like, well, now we demand more of this. And then it evolved into this huge toxic ball. And meanwhile, I'm over here like, I just wanted to see more Batman.
You're like punching
on this bad guys.
Little asteroid planet, like Marvin the Martian holding a sign that says, "I want Green Lantern, please."
Like I wanted to see Superman in a black suit. I've never seen that on film. That would be cool and neat to see. But it's like the fandom is so just ugly and gross that it's hard to be like. I kind of would like more Zack Snyder movies, but at this point, I don't want to give those people any more power. Sure. So like I definitely have issues with the character Rose. I like Kelly Marie Tran. I thought she did a great job. I just don't feel like the character necessarily needed to be injected into that film at the cost of less like Poe and Finn being together as a unit. Like it took away from their story as two dudes who are cool. It created a sort of a C plot. And for me, like, I'm afraid to express that now because I don't want people to think at all that I hate Rose because I like Rose. But I just feel like story-wise, when it comes down to it,
we could go
less nitpicky.
We could go into a whole Canto Bight thing. I mean, and how to fix the Canto Bight and why Canto Bight, the problems with Canto Bight, the great things about Canto Bight, but
me personally, I liked it because I was like, "Oh, you're seeing the seedy underworld that never really gets shown."
That's great, and I like Canto Bight as a cool place to visit in Star Wars. I think the story could be tightened without it.
Oh no, for sure.
That's it,
and it feels stuffed. The movie feels stuffed.
when it comes to stuff like this, like I look at this and I'm like, yeah, they could have spent time de-aging these guys. I might have, but I don't care. It's more about the story, and the story works. The story works, and that's all what I'm here for is story. Yeah, and I feel like this Obi-Wan series, I think, is the least impressive to look at of all of the Disney Plus Star Wars series. Story-wise, it's my favorite. So it's like, when are we gonna, there's always these trade-offs, and it doesn't have to look a specific way, but I do feel like, there's always going to be something to nitpick, and I would rather just talk about the cool stuff I like, because I didn't think I would ever see Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor clashing lightsabers as Anakin and Obi-Wan.
And it worked, right? And to me, Hayden was right back into the role. And one of the things I think worked really well in the prequel series is the relationship between Ewan and Hayden as Obi-Wan and Anakin. I think it worked really well.
It was so fun seeing them again.
Yeah, it was. It was great. And this is where, to me, it's like the de-aging. It was just like a little, just a fun thing to just make some jokes. But overall, I thought the flashback worked. I was in it. I was in it.
Also, I feel like as soon as I saw that they didn't de-age him, it took me 2 seconds to be fine with it and just move on with the thing. If he was de-aged, I would be staring at it and observing it instead of watching the story, because that's kind of how I was in the Dave Filoni episode of
the
Mandalorian season 2 or Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett. Where I just couldn't stop staring. I'm like, this is amazing. How did they do that? And I'm not listening to a word that AI was saying to me. So there's trade-offs.
Sure.
But for me, when you have things, I use this as an example, Edward Norton and Mark Ruffalo, or Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle. Yeah. We've gone through so many versions of the comic books of Marvel that you have different artists doing different takes on these characters. It doesn't matter what the actors are. So we're getting the same artists doing these characters, but they just happen to be, a little bit older. And it just,
if Star Wars fans weren't so ratcheted up, and I'll just say it, by canon, would we be so focused on the minutia of these details being off, or where does it fit? Because I think with Marvel movies, there is this latitude to say well, we can forgive that. I mean, it's kind of like the comics, there's some overlap and things that don't make sense, and you can kind of accept it.
It is amazing what Marvel has pulled off with the MCU, because you think, and
not everything connects.
One of my favorite podcasts, I've talked about it before on the show,
live action Star Wars
Spider-Man right now, and live action, but they're talking about how quaint Spider-Man 3 is compared to the modern Marvel movies, where we thought Spider-Man 3 was overstepped, but then you go No Way Home, which is insane. And if you think about it, just hey, I need help, Doctor Strange, can you reset the timeline for me or whatever? But the thing is, so just on spec, if it was an independent, it was what? Wait, what? That is, but they've earned it by having 27 movies up to that point. But there is a point where it kind of all caves in on itself. But that's why I think it is funny how Star Wars, which has never been a Loctite canon, people are being really nitpicky about it. And I think in general, especially this episode with the Grand Inquisitor being alive.
And clearly he didn't get that facelift that we were talking about, but that's fine.
And that second stomach was strong. And clearly Reva knowing who Anakin was, and it made perfect. It's what we thought would make sense, and it does make sense. And then the clearly this is a, not a fully fleshed.
I need to know how the Inquisitor lived. I assume that the rage and the anger, it was a wound that he held on to, and then I don't know, somehow survived. It would be cool if we got to see it, but then if we got to see it, would it be too much? Would we be filling in the gaps?
I don't see it. I don't care.
Right, but I assume with that throwaway line, that's how she's going to live long enough to make it to Tatooine.
Sure.
And of course, this is going to set up a whole thing with Ben, who's going to be like, "Don't come around here no more. We don't want your can, okay? Take that silly Jedi stuff. Get going."
It's a really good Ewan McGregor impression. But let's talk about Reva's whole play here, right? Because this what we all thought. She's trying to get close to Anakin to kill Anakin, right? Because of the being a youngling and blah blah blah. But I agree here with Studio Henge. I thought Reva should have stabbed Vader while he was force pulling the ship and was distracted. Pretty dumb plan to try and sneak up on Vader. I was saying the same thing. He's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
She has only herself to blame. Seriously. I mean, she could have had the jump. Obi-Wan gave her the opening. She hesitated.
Yep.
It's like crossing the street. You gotta go. You don't hesitate. You get hit.
But let's just cut to the chase here. Reva's story throughout all of this, and then the final showdown between her and Vader, I thought was awesome. I loved
and the flashbacks.
Every
with her
flashbacks, like her as a youngling, and showing that, and seeing Hayden as Vader in the Jedi Temple, and then when Vader clearly shows how it's just like, you're not even close. You're not even remotely in the same league as me.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to bother using my lightsaber. I'm going to force block you and then just take your lightsabers and just like, it was so insane. Cool. Again, the only thing I think that I was just like, Vader would kill her here. Why is he keeping her alive? Oh, because the story needs it. But other than that, I thought it was an amazing battle. Ralph, your thoughts, and then we'll go to Matt's.
I since day one have been saying, and a lot of people have been saying this, she's the youngling at the beginning, and she's going after Vader and all this stuff.
Yep.
Totally played out. Yet the more important sort of face off for me was her and Obi-Wan on the door at the door. That Star Wars doesn't make me emotional, and even though I totally saw it coming, it was a very well done scene.
Yes.
And her letting your guard down to Obi-Wan and letting him know what she's up to. Her saying, "You're like me." Stop. She totally can. She's been so good. Also, she's like supposed to be what, like 19 or something?
Really?
20?
It was only 10 years after.
It's only 10 years after.
That's true.
Or 66. True. So she's got to be somewhere around there. She's a kid.
These kids stepping into this franchise.
And so like it made me emotional, which Star Wars doesn't really do for me. There's only like a handful of times that Star Wars does that. And I thought it was so well done. Even though I knew it was coming, I thought it was so well done. It was a great use of flashbacks. And then to continue that on through the hallway versus Vader, that fight I thought was amazing. It's the first time that I remember seeing someone using a lightsaber against someone using the Force.
Yes.
Like flat out just stopping.
Right.
And the coordination between them. The sort of the choreography between that must have been a blast to come up with.
Vader holding two red swords. That was so cool. He snaps it, and then he's just like, and then he gets to the point, and I thought he was going to do the like,
a lot of people are Dooku. Yeah,
well, what's great too is the thing is, like, it is cool, and my whole thing about things that are cool. I prefer storytelling over coolness. But what's great about him grabbing that lightsaber and busting it in two, it's a story thing. Like he's saying, this is the weapon of an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
I'm old school. I use lightsabers. And then he, you know what I mean?
That's
like
true.
it shows his power over her, and it shows that he didn't touch his lightsaber once during that battle.
Yeah.
That was great.
I thought that was amazing. And I agree with you, Ralph. Like it was like it was like one of those Kurosawa film or something like that, where it's just the art in the movements, and he's just like whoop, whoop. It's just like the choreography I thought was fantastic. And I thought it was incredible. Matt, your thoughts?
I liked when the Inquisitor mentioned about using her rage like that. Like that was like a thing that they use, like that's all that she has, kind of. And the one thing that I've pointed out about her from the beginning, she doesn't have the Sith eyes. it would be cool in the next episode if we see that transition, if she's gone Sith, or we get to see that kind of that, like, because I mean, I don't know, maybe she just doesn't want to wear the contacts. I'm not quite sure why, but I do feel like she's only in the first gear of Sithdom, right?
Well, yeah.
And even the Grand Inquisitor who comes up and basically is just like, we pulled you out of the gutter. I still feel like he's only in second gear. Vader's still up here in fifth gear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
No
that
one's
battle,
touching Vader.
yeah, I love the fact that he does, because there is that moment, the Dooku moment, where you think,
Mhm.
oh, is he going to? But he tosses her the lightsaber, and I almost feel like he's just kind of like it's this cat and mouse thing, right?
Mhm.
We see him wanting to win. We see the duel with Obi-Wan, and how this is mirroring the fact that he's kind of just saying like, well, what do you got? What else?
Well,
what else?
It's a good point, because like if you think about it, like what's the challenge to him at this point? There's
Who?
none,
Yeah, who does he have? He doesn't have anybody
except for the Emperor.
Only
which
Obi-Wan.
can't beat the Emperor.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan in his mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan in his mind. Exactly.
He's so obsessed. I don't know about just standing there staring directly into hyperspace.
Yeah.
like Vader was doing, but he is still obsessed with Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I liked that
He's
this
still
episode
obsessed with
went.
Obi-Wan.
I liked that it went one further with his obsession with Obi-Wan, because I felt like the one previous almost felt kind of like she was the one still obsessed with Obi-Wan, even though it was
Mhm.
twisting in the plot. We could kind of see that it was moving in a different direction with her character. Everything is played out nicely. I understand that some fans might be upset if it seems predictable in some ways, but I also want all of the gears to work together. I don't want it to be too clunky or too like everything's a gotcha moment. So
I do want to plus in this comment here from Rez. I think these guys would enjoy a poop sandwich. They love everything. Well, let's talk about that, because I think, Rez, I do want to preface this by saying I think all three of us are generally positive people in life, and we also don't want to be miserable in fandom. And I'm not saying that guy's a Jets fan, he wouldn't know. So I understand what you're saying. I do agree that we generally talk about the positives because that's what we like. But the thing is, because I don't think this is without merit, that there's not critiques to be made, but I think we do call those out. But I think we're also calling like, what's the things that we love? So we'll always have that aspect. But I will say, for myself personally, just my outlook on things, I'm a pretty easy critic. It's hard for me not to like something.
Oh, you've been accused of being on the payroll.
Yeah, exactly. Both Ralph and I have been accused of being on payrolls.
I assume I will be next.
So I like that it says that we love everything. Matt, where am I? Matt, tell them my thoughts on the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, you're really not a big fan.
You don't like Clone Wars,
the cartoon, or even probably.
And Ralph and I are almost diametrically opposed. That I like Last Jedi and you like Rise of Skywalker. I hate Rise of Skywalker.
I'm split on Rise of Skywalker and love. There's still things about Last Jedi but it's hard. It's hard to back off on my fandom, and I think we've talked about this maybe in previous shows. But I do also like Star Wars for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it. This is a kids show.
Yes.
I'm not expecting on getting season 3 of The Boys in my Star Wars. And personally, I don't really need that.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like in my Star Wars, if that's what you're looking for in Star Wars, and I do hope that we get to a point in Star Wars where we can have kind of more of like that Star Wars visions where it's a la, let's give these directors like a little bit more breathing room.
Yes.
I'm kind of curious as to what Rodriguez would have done with a Book of Boba Fett where his hands weren't shackled. I do think that there were certain things that he was kind of tethered to.
And that's what I loved about The Last Jedi, was just like, okay, finally just like go do something outside of the Skywalker saga, right? And I understand, but I do get how people felt like, well, this is still the Skywalker saga, so you shouldn't have done it here, you should do it, whatever. I think, sure, that's fine. But just for me personally, because I did really like Star Wars Visions, because like just you're doing other things within the universe.
Yeah.
Some news that today, I think I saw today, that Taika Waititi's series is going to be completely out of the.
Excellent. I mean, Ralph and I, you and I both were talking about this maybe previously about how we want more Star Wars that's outside of these bounds of like way far in the past, way far in the future. Show me things I haven't seen before. You know, I want my Darth Vader. I want my Cocoa Krispies or my Cocoa Puffs or whatever your cereal of choice
Some sort of chocolate cereal.
Some sort of chocolate cereal. But, you know, I also want to branch out and have different things. So, but is this series perfect? No. But I will go back to the fact that I am enjoying this story. And if Star Wars TV is to grow, I'm along for the ride. I think it'll have times where it'll shine, and I think there are fans that'll come back to this Kenobi show that are missing out on it, like Solo, and they'll be like, "Whoa, there's some solid stuff here."
I'm enjoying this more than Solo.
Not to compare it with Ralph's movie.
No, I know Ralph loves Solo, but for me personally, I have enjoyed the story, and again, I think the critiques that make sense to me is that the stakes don't feel that big because we know Leia's gonna live, we know Obi-Wan's gonna live, we know Vader's gonna live, like and so
now Tala's gone.
We know the Grand Inquisitor is gonna live, and so it's like I get why you bring in new characters because you need to have some people that you don't know what's going to happen to them. And we saw what happened to a few of them today or in today's episode. And I assume Reva will probably meet her end or something dramatic will happen to her in the last episode because you can only do that with new characters. And that's why you would bring them into this series. And, you know, and that is the drawback to, you know, bringing in some, you know, big tentpole iconic characters into a 6-episode series. So the stakes aren't going to feel as heavy. And but for my kids, we've all watched it as a family every Wednesday. They're scared. It was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then Colleen and I are like, don't remember, they make it in the next movie. It's going to be okay. For them, the stakes feel real. But I think for us grown-ups that get it, we're like, it's fine. They're going to be fine.
Well, and they're watching the kids, and they're watching those moments with the kids as well. Like my daughter, even who's older than this Leia, I mean, just to watch a kid Leia as a girl, I mean, it's just it's something that a lot of fans, I think, that are not, well, I'll just say our gender and our age, do enjoy, and that representation definitely matters.
Absolutely,
especially for the future of Star Wars.
And again, I think that's where this toxic fan #toxic fan friend of ours, basically, like I got in the argument with him because he was like, "This is just a way to make it about a woman-driven series or something like that," and I'm just like, I don't see that take at all. I'm sorry, I just don't see it.
No, I don't.
Like. Reva is an antagonist. If you don't like her as an antagonist, that's fine. But to say it's the Reva show, I just don't see that.
We just had a male-driven show. It was called Book of Boba Fett.
or it's Obi-Wan. There's a lot. It's Obi-Wan's story. I feel like he's had a compelling story here, even though you know what's going to happen to him. I feel like they've done a pretty compelling story for him.
I'm just going to play devil's advocate here with the character of Tala because her
story was great. I got misty with her today. Let's talk about Tala. I liked her arc. I liked how they played her out. I was intrigued by the thing that I read about there was initially going to be a romance there, which I think is kind of weird to bring into Kenobi. You know, like that these two. However, if you were to rewrite it, it would be also kind of interesting if Kenobi wasn't living alone in the desert. If he actually had like he's let go of the Force. He's turned away. Let's go, baby.
I mean, you know, it's like, why be a monk anymore? You know,
it's true. But to me, it's like he was in love with Satine. He would have left the order for Satine if she said, "Let's go."
I see. Yeah, it kind of tarnishes that.
Yeah, sure. I feel like if you make the relationship with Tala, you have to explore the Satine relationship. And they probably didn't have time to do it in 6 episodes. But that's where I think you're oscillating here. They should have just said, let's do 10 episodes so we could fill this out a little bit more.
Right.
Versus the 6 episodes where it's like, okay, well, it's like
an extended movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like it's a long movie, but it's too short of a TV show. And so if there's like a thing to critique that, I think it's just like you only had 6 episodes, and so but their characters, everybody's fate. So there's just not so much you can do. They should have gone longer if they were going to, I don't know, want to explore some other things.
Yeah, even with the other, I can't think of his character, but the Flim Flam man, the Shim Sham guy, hey, I'm gonna get you, the like, I can't remember.
Kumail Nanjiani, Haja.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I'm trying to like think of that term that you use for a person that's trying to be shady and it's like trying to like, I don't know. Anyway, his character, I could see where they could have gone further with him and the way or this path, and maybe we'll even get more of him because he'll be on this this craft that they're trying to escape. And looking forward to next week. I mean, clearly the Star Destroyer is going to come up close to them. The hyperdrive's not working. I thought they were going to end Rebels in some kind of way like this, where perhaps we were going to be led to believe that somebody were to jump away and in a blind jump, and then you don't know what happens to them, or perhaps there's an explosion. I doubt we're going to get Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader battling in space, but I would love to see that. That would be like so unreal.
Hold on.
So cool.
Are you saying that Obi-Wan's going to jump out of a ship in space?
Yes.
And Princess Leia is going to see this move and realize that a Jedi could use the Force to survive in space to save her in The Last Jedi.
Yep.
I'm fine with it. I don't.
And it jumps away. So they think he's dead.
Surely he's dead by now.
Surely he's dead by now. It all works, right?
Oh my god!
And then he makes it to a capsule or something. I don't know. So, I like to Flim Flam man. I was trying to think
it's
of
Haja.
I
will say he felt a little forced into this episode. It was kind of like, really, Reva probably would have killed him if not for him needing to be the one that drops the communicator. Like it's kind of, he was there.
Yeah. And Obi-Wan, clearly they didn't want to show him dropping objects again. Like he doesn't have a habit of dropping these objects. Anyway.
But I will say, when he gave him the lightsaber, I was like, dude, what are you doing? You got Obi-Wan. But again, that's where it's like the things that limit this series is like, oh, well, I know he's gonna get the lightsaber back because he has that lightsaber in A New Hope. So it's just.
But I mean, like, Obi-Wan really doesn't have any friends. He's been in the desert for for 10 years, and the only
I'm just shipping him and Tala because I wanted him to get,
a
little bit of happiness.
His lightsaber wet.
Your words, not mine.
I use the word lightsaber. I didn't say that.
Okay. All right. This is a family show now. All right. So, but I will.
He started it.
I know. All right. You earned it.
That's what she said.
Okay. Moving on.
Tala, a tear sheds
me.
So.
Tala.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
We barely knew you.
I thought it was, again, it felt very much Rogue One with KSO.
Oh yeah, the robot protecting her, and you guys are reading chat.
You mean just the robot getting shot and dying?
I want to plus this in because somebody said, like, is this the first time we've gotten a thermal detonator live? Here, break something.
Yes, I believe so.
Was that the first live action detonating thermal detonator? Yeah, it was. Yeah. We finally got to see it happen.
Yeah. In Solo, it was a rock.
I thought he was trying to communicate with velociraptors the whole time.
Solo's so great.
I will say, I kind of had a feeling I have a feeling any new character is the one that'll die. Especially for her. She's trying to, like, penance for sins of her past or whatever. So I thought it was a compelling scene. It was, you could say it's paint by the numbers or whatever, but just the music swelling, the noise getting kind of muffled, and sacrificing herself to whatever. I'm a sap. I got teary eyed. I'll full readily admit it. I thought it was a nice scene.
Way too early for me to cry in the morning, but when I watched the episode.
Mike, you have been coming back this 100 times, so let's just bust it in here. Thermal detonator in a crowd when they need it, but they were all in there fighting. Why would she do that when I'm guessing when they were all in the room at first? Like that was probably the best place to do it, right? Like, was there another place to drop?
She was shot in the stomach. She was stuck on the floor.
Yeah,
she waited for Obi-Wan to close the door behind her, and then she let it off when the troops came in. It was the best time.
Yeah, I can't think of another spot. I will say the approach was. I was trying to think, that hangar that opens up on the top. Like, why couldn't they just have a shuttle just waiting there when it opened? But if that didn't happen, we would have gotten the insane Darth Vader pulling the ship back.
Right? Yeah,
so that was really cool. I will say, I was
nice Rise of Skywalker nod there.
I believe it was also a lot of people are calling out. I haven't played the game, but Fallen Order, the game, apparently there was a bit of an homage to that as well. Really cool scene. Again, Vader being Vader as Prime, which is really cool. But first I had to rewind it because I was like, wait, there was a second ship there the whole time. I did not notice that until I went. I was like, oh, there it is. It's been sitting there the whole time. Didn't notice it at all. So that worked, I guess.
They fooled us.
The
old Trump away, fool of the eye. They got us. Okay, just to be critical, since I guess we like to eat sandwiches here. Can we get something a little bit more complex than like the red fuse? For like the kid to, because I have a fuse box, and if I told my kid to go flip a fuse, like half the place would lose power.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just.
But it is Leia.
It's Leia. It's fine.
It took her a while. I gotta say, it took her a while in there.
She did. It did. Yeah, and she did have to have that little battle with Lola. I'm okay with Lola. It does every time it flashes at the beginning, though. I'm always like, oh, it looks like Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
And then that's when I'm mad. Whenever I think about Mickey Mouse, it's like, you got your Mickey Mouse in my Star Wars. I draw the line here. This is where we begin and end,
sir.
So if I was Reva, I would be putting a little thing on there to make it go red and evil. So.
Yeah, I agree. I love this line by Overman. This made me crack up. They found Vader's greatest weakness: 2 ships.
Well, I already spent my force power on that one. I have to recharge.
Can't do it again. But I will say they did sell it. And again, I watch the subtitles because I'm old and I can't hear anymore. But they kind of had the subtitles saying like Vader straining to, bring down the ship or whatever. So I was like, okay, this is a lot. It is a lot to stop a ship from taking off. So it and he tore the damn thing apart. So, but I did think that's a really funny comment.
Any predictions for next week?
Let's talk about predictions. Or no, final thoughts on this episode. Then we'll talk.
Okay. Final thoughts.
Ralph, final thoughts.
Thought it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to like it.
Okay. Short and sweet. Love it, Ralph. Matt, final thought.
C-. Just bottom of the barrel. Hated it. Give me something better. The whole series is crap. No, I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually, and I loved going back and rewatching it. I think some of the episodes, I'm looking forward to kind of binging the whole series, but this one for sure, with all of the lightsaber battles. That is the peanut butter and jelly sandwich of Star Wars, and I'm here for it. And so. Yeah. And I even with the character being a little bit, I will say, over the top at times, I felt like we had a character explanation for it. She is Rage. I still say she's not full Sith.
No,
and that
none
that
of
is
them
where
are.
she is. Well, I think the
Except for
Grand
Vader and technically
that's
only Vader
true.
and Palpatine.
True, they're the only ones that are Sith. But
Yeah.
the Grand Inquisitor, his eyes have gone Sith though, for sure.
Isn't that just
So
his like
That's a species.
No, it's not a species.
Yeah.
The species have those eyes.
Probably.
Oh, okay.
A better Star Wars fan will let us know right now. But
Right, I know.
To me, I
Worst
assume
person ever.
the Inquisitors are not Sith. They're not
Yeah,
Jedi.
they're like
Force sensitive acolytes. Like they're not like they're dark force wielders, but they're not. There's only 2 Sith, right? And again, what I loved about this is it showed the difference. It showed the difference between that and that. I mean, honestly, Darth Maul made pretty quick work of the Inquisitors in
yes.
Was it Twilight
Rebels.
of the Apprentice? What
Yes.
the season finale, 2 finale of Rebels?
And by the way, that shot with Ahsoka slashing away like Vader's mask, I still secretly, it's kind of one of those things that I kind of
getting into predictions. Hold it for a second.
Sorry, okay, I had to sneeze.
But no, I enjoyed this episode. There's a lot of things I really liked about it. I think the critiques I have are just where these characters are going, so there's not that much suspense. But I think with the story that they've had and the amount of episodes that they've had, I've enjoyed it. I've loved how much Vader's been a part of it. I've loved every second of his involvement in this. I love Hayden Christensen being in this. I love the Hayden Christensen flashback. I love Ewan McGregor just being Obi-Wan. Like there's so much stuff that I love about it that it greatly overshadows, nitpicky things that I could point out. And if that means if we're all eating a poop shit sandwich, then so be it. But I do agree here, Matt. Like it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, even though I hate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. For me, that's I guess a turkey sandwich. I don't know, but
maybe it's like the hamburger or like the toy surprise. It is
exactly.
the thing.
Just straight burger, and that's fine, and that's good too. And the thing is, out of all the episodes, I would probably, if I had to rank them right now, I really like the first episode, but maybe it would be 3 and 1 or close to top. I would maybe put this below those. The episode 4 is probably my least favorite, and then I'd probably actually, on rewatch, I just rewatched it again. The second episode is probably my least favorite out of all of them. But anyway, overall though, I've enjoyed it throughout, much more than I did Book of Boba Fett, even though I liked once it became The Mandalorian again. But overall, really enjoying the series. All right, finale predictions. Episode 6. We clearly need to have one more confrontation with Vader, and we clearly it was set up pretty. We had the shot of Luke laying quietly in bed, which my family and I were watching it like right before bedtime for the boys, and I think Alex, who's far, was like, "What's Luke doing?" And I was like, "Sleeping," which you're gonna be doing now. Let's go. And he's like, "Dang it." But anyway, clearly there's going, and to me, I just see it in my mind. I think Darth Maul was an original idea for this character. They want a duel in the desert, and Reva's going to play the part of Darth Maul and Obi-Wan in the desert, however that plays out. That's my predictions. Ralph, and then Matt, you get final say. Ralph, predictions for the finale.
I'm still going with Obi-Wan will be left for dead. The ending of this is going to mirror Revenge of the Sith, but this time it's Obi-Wan who's being left for dead. And as we saw Quinlan Voss's quote, once Obi-Wan closes his eyes, then he will see Qui-Gon.
Oh, yeah, still no Qui-Gon.
And Qui-Gon will be the one that tells Obi-Wan to rise. And
rise.
We missed some de-aging in this episode. I think we're going to get some up-aging in the next episode.
Ooh, a little flash forward action, huh?
I think we're going to get. I think we're going to get a closer Alec Guinness style.
That'd be cool.
Ooh, an epilogue.
Kind of what they did. Kind of what they did with Rebels.
Okay, I love that. Well, I think that depends on, because I've heard rumors of a season 2.
Yeah, it depends on that.
It depends on that, but yeah, that's a great prediction. Matt, finale predictions, final word.
The ship's going to almost catch up with them. Perhaps I don't know if we're going to get a hallway scene. That means that they would capture the ship, and how would the ship get away? I'm not quite sure, like the logistics of this. I do like to think that there is this moment where the ship gets away. He battles Vader one last time, but then it is Reva in the desert. clearly. There's no way that Vader makes it back to Tatooine. It feels like he's going to be too close to Luke. It just feels way too.
That'll be a jump the shark moment. I'll call it now. I'll just call it now. Vader can't be on Tatooine, and that's why.
That's why I feel like the battle has to happen, like in a hallway. They're working on getting that hyperdrive. Like I've kept wanting him to surrender himself over, where you almost think all hope is lost, so that they can get away. And that he can face off against Vader, and then he escapes to make it back to Tatooine. I'm not quite sure how it all shake down. I hope that the next episode is a full hour.
Agree.
So here's the thing: the ship is going to have Darth Vader in it.
Yes.
Obi-Wan is going to be in the ship that has Princess Leia in it.
Mm-hmm.
So 100%, he needs to leave that ship, board Vader's ship,
right,
to allow Princess Leia to leave, because Vader doesn't know anything about Leia.
Exactly.
So he's just going to jump out into outer space and Mary Poppins his way over to the other ship.
No. He's going to skywalk. You know?
By the way, what you did there.
By the way, why have they not made like shoes that are just called Skywalker shoes and they have clouds in them? You know, or like some kind of, I mean, of all the fancy Star Wars shoes,
they put clouds in them,
or sand, whatever you want. But skywalking, you would walk on clouds. Anyway, it's just one of my great.
Skechers makes those.
Do they?
Anyway, okay, all right.
Okay, that's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it. But I like this idea of us getting the rise. That would be really creepy.
There's a back to tank
mm-hmm.
where Reva is, so she's going to be fine.
That's true.
So she might help Obi-Wan escape to Tatooine because she knows where he needs to go.
You think Reva's going to turn? Okay, that's a crazy.
I don't know, dude.
Okay, personally,
if I throw enough stuff, then the prediction will happen that I got right, and then.
If I say I wanted a season 2,
Jack from Jay and Jack technique, just throw a bunch of stuff and then broken clock's right.
If I were to say that I wanted a season 2, but I would want it to be focused on Vader, I would take six episodes of where it's Vader, like,
and that's and that's the biggest fault I think they've done with this TV series thing is it should just be a Star Wars story, and then you can just do whatever the hell you want. Putting the tags on it, Book of Boba Fett,
mm-hmm.
Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, like it I think it compartmentalizes it too much to where you should just say like,
there's
Star Wars.
And there's a lot of Star Wars fans that I think they're like, oh, which one do I have to watch, or what do I gotta do? And it's like if you were just along for the ride, you'd be like, oh, I'm tuning in this week. What do we got?
Exactly.
Oh, this is cool. A la Lost, with lots of stories happening
mm-hmm.
with different characters. So
all right. It is the end of the episode, and that means it's time for screen memes, which, I did a Stranger Things stream with my good buddy Dom, and Stranger Memes was just perfect.
Ooh.
And now I'm just like, I'm still, screen memes isn't perfect for Star Wars yet. Like there's something there, and it still hasn't presented itself for Star Wars and memes. But anyway, screen memes will close out with.
What about live action screen memes?
Stop it.
I can deal with that.
Okay.
I can deal with that.
And,
go subscribe to that show, by the way. Like, in all seriousness, like we really want subscribers. It's a fun show. Okay. Let Matt describe these memes to everyone listening on the audio feeds.
Out of the three of us, you are an audio only medium.
I'm an audio only person. I still actually told my family I'm podcasting tonight, and that's not true. So I've lied to them.
Right.
Ooh, midichlora memes.
Ooh, solid.
Midichlorians.
Charlie Weaver's been meme wars.
All right, here we go. This one I felt today when I went on. I haven't watched this yet. I'm sure it's great, the Miss Marvel show. But when you log on Disney Plus on Wednesday and the first splash show is Miss Marvel, I was hoping for Kenobi. Why are you here? Ralph, this is from Clone Wars. So
Got it.
It's showing an image of Darth Maul from Clone Wars, a la the show that Ralph hasn't seen because he only watches live action. But it's
I've seen all of them. I just
probably like
on my
season 5 or season 4. But the top part is that little blurb that you see at the top, and yeah, it is. My family watched it. But,
I had to, and again, I'm sure I haven't watched it. I'm sure it's fine, but I was just like, wait, where's Obi-Wan? I was like, so I had to go down and go to Star Wars and then go to Obi-Wan. I was like, come on.
What is this about?
Come on.
You know what I do? I do? Before I go to bed, I open up the Obi-Wan page. And then when I wake up at 5:30 to watch the show, I just turn on the Apple TV and it's there.
I love your life.
I'm like ready to go. I went and got Dunkin' this morning. I had a big iced tea.
The episode Matt doesn't narrate will be my last.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Pressure's on now.
As painful as the day I lost you. A lot of these were all pulled from Reddit prequel memes. The prequel memes Reddit absolutely love this episode because I think they were killing younglings in this episode. They love.
Yeah, the top 2 images are the unaged, or they're just the older versions from this this episode. And the bottom, what is that from?
It's Brave, I think. Is it Brave?
Okay. It just, the greenish part is throwing me, and I'm like, I know this isn't Shrek because there's no mustache like that.
I don't think
it looks more Pixar. You're as beautiful.
I think that's How to Train Your Dragon.
Was that How to Train Your Dragon?
Oh, okay.
I think so.
DreamWorks. So
I did think we could comment here. It was really nice to see Anakin.
It was. I was so happy, and I don't care about it. I'm not gonna. I loved this whole part. Like you could have had like the whole episode. They could have gone and gotten coffee and been talking about like all of these crazy things. I could have had that. Basically what we do.
Yeah. Darth Arian confirms How to Train Your Dragon 2. There you go.
Ooh, the second one.
All right, let's keep moving on here. Let's go to the next one.
Those are great movies, by the way. That third one, How to Train Your Dragon, destroyed me. Absolutely destroyed me.
All right, come on. You're missing a good meme here, Ralph.
So awesome.
I was waiting for the explanation.
How do I describe it? It's a quad image. Okay,
it is.
So the top part is like what happened back in the 2000s.
Well, it's that quintessential meme, and I'm blanking on this character's name. I know her from the School of Rock movies, but is it iCarly?
I believe it's iCarly.
I think you're right.
The bottom one they could have just used Gloria from Modern Family.
Well, that's her now, because like the meme became that top one, and then I think you did like an iCarly Legacy sequel or something, and they had her recreate that scene.
She doesn't have her head quite tilted, but neither do Obi-Wan and Anakin.
It's true, and so I love the juxtaposition here. That was laughing.
Totally nitpicking.
Look at how old you've become. Did anybody use that as a meme?
No.
Oh.
I
was thinking about all of these things that they left because all of the carvings on the wall. But General Grievous was here, is what Obi-Wan is reading, and then he's looking at all of these lightsabers.
I believe was it Heavy Spoilers I was watching, and he said one of these looked like Quinlan's lightsaber. So maybe the Jedi leave the lightsabers behind and move on.
No, Cal Kestis. No, whatever his name is. I just started. I got Jedi Fallen Order this week.
Got D. I think he got it. Tattoo memes.
Oh,
ooh,
tattoo
that's
memes.
it. I like that.
I think that's it.
They're kind of samey.
Mike, if you send them, I don't have them, and it's live. So next time I'll get them, my friend. I apologize. All right, moving on here. Let's see.
This show needs a stump Matt.
Stump Matt.
This is the stump, right? Just like look at memes. Why can't I go to the next one? Why isn't it going?
General Grievous was here. I was thinking about all of those things. It's like they're kind of part of this like underground religious sect now. Like ooh. It's
tell the Inquisitor I want to talk. Yes, the negotiator.
I thought about this actually, legit. Like when he goes out to talk to the Inquisitor, I was like, oh yeah, he does. He likes to do this. And even in the Clone Wars, which is a cartoon, and you see Obi-Wan being a negotiator again and again, just kind of like how I like repeatedly just like, rag on Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Geek Dead Life Historian has called out. We've only done one stump route. I think we've done a couple stump.
We've done
routes.
two.
We've
done two, and I got them both right. One was the island on top of the world, and the other was Captain Power.
Yeah. So
I remember because it's terrifying. I don't know how John does it every week. It's terrifying.
I don't know what you're talking about, but the stumping.
I've been doing it. It's stressful. All right. Here we go. Next one. Star Wars never skips a beat when it comes to letting everyone know Anakin absolutely dunked on those younglings. Matt, go ahead and describe the image.
Well, he's using a profanity, and it's an image. I like how it's it got the Air Jordan
dunking on the
dunking on the younglings, and it's peak Anakin from Revenge of the Sith. Also, I like the Twitter, by the way. I like the Twitter kind of thing too. Like how it's got hashtag Kenobi
screenshot.
It's cute. So,
yeah,
and
there's a bit of a spoiler before this episode started. They gave the warning.
Yes,
they did.
Yes,
and so I'm like, oh, this is when we're gonna get her backstory in it.
Yeah, killing
my kids were definitely like, what is that about? What can we watch? And I'm like, it's fine. It's gonna be Order 66.
Scary.
I'm just letting it. And she's like, okay, all right.
All right, let's keep moving here. Classic Vince McMahon meme.
I love these memes where he's just like continually getting like more and more excited. And the last one, he's like all red and his eyes are like glowing. And of course, it's the scenes with Vader versus Reva. So yeah, when he has the two lightsabers, that's me. That is my face every time I think about it too.
You fell over in your chair.
I do. I love it. He's like, you see him with two. So good. More.
All right, let's keep moving here. Vader explaining why he was putting up with the third sisters ish this whole time.
I was acting. And it has
Giancarlo Esposito.
Thank you. So I don't have to like mess up that name. So I see it in my mind,
What, Giancarlo Esposito?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like his
Great
name.
Thespian. Met him. Remember that show? Was it the Power being out or whatever? Remember that show? Like the power went out and it was like a dystopian future show. Anyways, they filmed it in Wilmington. Jack and I went and did a press thing there. Really nice guy. Anyways,
Vader's so weak. Sorry.
I'm not a fan of the profanity here, but it's a really funny meme, and we got the Grand Inquisitor.
The Grand Inquisitor.
I lived. Some more Grand Inquisitor ones here. The Grand Inquisitor at the end of episode 5 be like
the scene from The Incredibles, first Incredibles. I believe.
Yes,
so.
Syndrome.
Nice. Yeah.
Next one.
I love anytime you see these looking over the grave.
Yes,
this
is from
sign.
Arrow or Flash or something like that. Yeah.
And
it's from Flash.
Yeah,
it's like a behind the scenes thing. It's Grant Gustin in front of somebody's grave, and he took it while on the set. It was like this big surprise, and then when the episode aired, he posted that picture of him in front of the grave. I forget.
But it's got the Grand Inquisitor popping out of the ground, and she's all like,
"What?"
Just the eyes.
This is what I love. Qui-Gon watching everybody get stabbed by a lightsaber and survive. And it's a basketball meme where the guy's just like disappointed. But
they made him like a blue ghost. Yeah, I love that. That's good. That's smart. I like that.
I get, again, this is like the canon's a little wonky, but he was, they couldn't go to him right. They couldn't attend to his wounds right away. Right?
How would he live off of that anger and revenge? Because I assume that it's like a festering wound.
Sure.
And okay, they could have showed us that. They could have showed us like that, like regenerating as the third sister walked away on that episode, right? Like you could have shown that, and then we would have been like, oh, that's how it works, right? But
he could have had his own Rocky montage getting back. This is the last one. Yo, Obi-Wan, it's me, Bail Organa of Alderaan. In case you get captured by the Empire, I will leave you this message on an easy-to-lose and not encrypted device. that I will look after Luke Skywalker, the son of Darth Vader, better known as Anakin Skywalker. I will meet Owen Lars on Mos Eisley Tatooine. I hope my adopted daughter, Leia Organa, secretly the twin sister of Luke Skywalker, is safe with you. May the Force be with you.
That is solid. I love that. That is good. So good.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
That message needed a self-destruct.
Well, it was from a long time
I was like, "Man, what you doing? Like, stop it! Giving up way too much info."
Hey, Kenobes, I'm gonna leave a second message too, just to follow up. It'll have my home address as well as my wife's. Feel free to reach me anytime.
This is where it fits into the canon. That's why Leia was so kind of, general.
Yeah.
With her message to General Kenobi.
General Kenobi, wink, wink. We just didn't see that part.
But again, when Luke comes in, he's like, "I'm here with Ben Kenobi." I was like, "Ben Kenobi, where is he?"
Yeah,
that's where it lands for me. It works.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. I'm fine.
Oh my God, should have added. I hope that the brother and sister don't kiss later in life.
Nice.
Again, some more nice plot holes in the original trilogy. Okay. I think that's it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again to my fantastic co-hosts of this show. Matt, you do a Star Wars podcast.
Every week.
With
every week, every month, every solid.
I think you're on the same schedule as Screen Geeks.
Pretty much, it kind of is.
Probably.
There's a lot of Screen Geeks we need to get to though, Rob, because we've got Top Gun we want to do. I'm seeing Lightyear tomorrow.
Nice.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I saw Jurassic Park the other day. So.
Oh, there you go. Was it good?
Yeah, I mean, I like dinosaurs.
Okay, all right. I haven't seen it yet. 20 watch. Hey, let's get some more likes on it if you haven't hit the like button yet. Thank you for everybody hanging out. Ralph, you do a Star Wars YouTube page. You never mentioned
it.
But where can people like and subscribe your YouTube page?
Go to liveactionstarwars.com and hit the subscribe button. We need to get that thing monetized so I can get the celebration
in London.
Yeah,
James will be
my co-host.
Great.
Yeah,
like you got to go to the one in Anaheim, and now he'll get to go to the one in London. This is perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ralph does a YouTube show.
Hey, there's a few people that know about it.
But yes, definitely check it out if you haven't already. And I do want to thank our patrons, the people that help this channel grow. So let me hit play. This has all of the. This has everybody.
All right, Ralph. Let's
even
get
the
ready.
new ones that came in today. So thank you to all the patrons.
It's okay.
Find a full
it's the rope.
Them. All right, there we go. Right here.
It's like
coming on down the line. Oh, there's Colleen. I forced her to become a patron.
Sure, don't mention my name.
Oh, yours is on there. I'm sorry. Ralph is on there too.
Way to go, Rogo.
Let's do it again. Rogo.
Thanks, Stanley Toy. And Papa Loco.
Oh man. Again, thank you to all of the patrons. And gentlemen, next week, the grand finale. And Ralph, I think we've talked about it. I think all three of us might be on your other YouTube show. So absolutely need to subscribe.
Be
there in the morning.
We might be doing two shows next
two shows. So we'll be there in the first hot take in the morning. And then we'll be back here in the night after we watched it at least 2 times. So a whole bunch of Star Wars next Wednesday. Everybody, take care. Thank everybody in the chat. And until next time, hasta luego. And goodbye. Take care, everybody.